Morgan State University remains on lockdown as police are investigating a shooting that happened here earlier this afternoon. Now, behind me is Thurgood Marshall Residence Complex. The victim, whose injuries we're told are non-life-threatening, was shot somewhere outside of this complex. Police swarmed to the scene. Keep in mind that the Northeast Baltimore City headquarters is just a couple hundred yards down the street from here.
In a 40 or 70 mile course to benefit cancer research. Among them will be Lance Armstrong, who is competing in his first triathlon since the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency handed down its ruling back in August. Armstrong is being hosted by the Ullman Cancer Fund, who is named for Dave Ullman, a three-time cancer survivor and president of the Lance Armstrong Foundation. To date, Lance Armstrong has raised over $470 million for cancer research.
Residents in Towson are still making sense after riots broke out outside the Record Theater yesterday. This event was oversold, and when local college students were turned away, they became violent. Locals question the riot's effect on local business and the theater itself.
I think it will definitely have a bearing on them. I hope it's not such a negative bearing that they're not going to be able to bounce back from this situation. I mean, Towson's an upgrade community. The people here are wonderful. I'm a Towson resident myself, and I hate to see it have any bad effects on them.
George Georges is the owner of the Kent House Lounge nearby on York Road. Georges was forced to close his doors when rioters tried coming into his restaurant to avoid police.
Around 11:30, I'd say I had to close my doors with the help of one of the sergeants here in the county, because they were trying to come into my place because they were like, well, they're asking us to leave or telling us to leave, so we're going to duck in here. Well, I said no.
Georges hopes that the violent episode has no effect on the surrounding area or his business.
I think it'll. If it happens again, yeah. But I think it's going to be lessons learned, and we go about our business.
An adult and 4 children are dead in a 2-alarm house fire that occurred in Northeast Baltimore early this morning. A call came in shortly after 2 a.m. reporting the fire at the 5600 block of Denwood Avenue. Also, 2 firefighters were injured in the blaze and have been taken to the John Hopkins Bayview Burn Unit.
Firefighters ascended to the 2nd floor. One of them fell from the 2nd floor down into the basement, coming down onto another firefighter. Our rapid intervention team, after a mayday was sounded, went inside to rescue those members, brought them out. They were cared for by our paramedics on the scene and transported to Bayview Medical Center, where they received further treatment and assessments.
Moving to national news, as we come closer to the edge of the fiscal cliff, a new NBC Wall Street Journal poll shows an overwhelming majority of Americans want Congress and the Obama administration to reach a deal. A majority of Democrats, Republicans, and political independents each support a resolution featuring both tax increases and spending cuts. According to the poll, 59% of Republicans want GOP leaders to make compromises, while 70% of Democrats also favor the compromise, an all-time high for the survey. The poll, conducted a month after November's election, also shows a rise in positive opinions toward the Obama administration, but more negative views of Mitt Romney and the Republican Party.
Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Paul Jay in Baltimore. Hugo Chavez is recovering from cancer surgery in Cuba. And while he was recovering, his party swept state elections in Venezuela. Now joining us to talk about this is Gregory Wilpert. Gregory, between the years of 2000 and 2008, lived in Venezuela. He taught at the Central University of Venezuela. He also founded VenezuelaAnalysis.com. And he published the book, Changing Venezuela by Taking Power, the History and Policies of the Chavez Government. He now lives in New York. His wife is the Consul General of Venezuela in New York. Thanks very much for joining us, Greg.
Thanks for inviting me, Paul.
Congratulations to Vince Ciotta, as he has been named the SFM Sports.net Student Athlete of the Month for February 2013. A dual sport athlete in both cross country and track, Ciotta is already Perry Hall's most decorated track athlete, despite having 1 season remaining. Ciotta is headed into outdoor track after an undefeated indoor campaign. one which saw him win the 4A Maryland State Championship in both the 1600 and 3200 meters, the 1600 in state record time. His academic achievements, along with his athletic accomplishments, have earned Ciotta a scholarship to Virginia Tech, where he will run track for the Hokies and study engineering.
We begin our show with a former football standout from Edmondson High School, Carl Washington, as he signs his national letter of intent in front of family and friends. It was an exciting day in December as former Edmondson High School football star Carl Washington signed a national letter of intent with the University of Arkansas.
Carl, why did you pick Arkansas over schools like Texas Tech, Rutgers, Mississippi State, and Kansas?
Well, to start off, I picked Arkansas over majority of those schools because I wanted to play in the SEC.
It was Dunbar facing City College at Morgan State. Dunbar in the white and City in the orange. Damon Stokes responds with the triple. City loses the ball and Dunbar's Dexter Miles goes coast to coast for the score. After the timeout, the Poets with the lob to Dexter Miles. And the crowd goes crazy.